Dear candidates, welcome to this training on the WOSM Code of Conduct for Elections. My name is Brendan, and I have the privilege of serving Scouting as the chair of the WOSM Ethics Committee. We are delighted that you have decided to put your name forward to stand to serve our members around the world as an elected official. As you know, Scouting has a long history as a movement for positive change, and nowhere has this been more evident in our leaders and their actions. Through the years, Scouting has had a series of volunteer leaders on the committees at world, regional and zonal level who have lived and promoted the Scout promise and law. We wish to continue that proud tradition and promote the practice of a good, fair and transparent democracy in the selection of our elected officials. To do this, the World Scout Committee has adopted a code of conduct for elections that ensures that, as a candidate, you are able to campaign and contest the election without discrimination, disadvantage, fear, or favor. So, in general, the purpose of this training is to familiarize you with the possible issues that might arise during the campaign and the behaviors that you and your supporters are protected from and should avoid during the campaign. So, is this the training for you? You should be completing this training if you intend to campaign for any elected leadership role at the zonal, regional, or world levels of WOSM, or if you are a supporter of a candidate, especially those actively campaigning for or providing financial support to a candidate, a World Scout Bureau staff member who will help implement the election process, or if you currently hold a volunteer leadership role in the WOSM structures. This Code of Conduct for Elections training has been prepared to help you as a candidate or supporter of a candidate to understand the Scout promise and law as it impacts your actions during the contesting of your election. WOSM has members from all around the world and of every creed and culture. This diversity of leadership gives Scouting leadership a massive strength from the insight that they bring into our members, as well as different problem-solving approaches that let us find the best support and solutions for our members. But with those different cultures come different practices for contesting elections. What one culture finds totally acceptable might be utterly unacceptable to people from another. For this reason, we have prepared this to help you with clear guidelines on how you can contest this election and avoid any action that might be seen by others to be undermining the democracy or fairness of the process. The Code of Conduct applies to all elections for roles at the zonal, regional and world levels of WOSM. To protect the election process and the candidates' rights, the Code of Conduct applies not only to the behavior of candidates and their supporters, but also to the behaviors of the WOSM team members or any third-party member related to or helping to support the elections. The WOSM team is defined in the WOSM Code of Conduct to include all those individuals appointed or elected on the world, regional or zonal levels of WOSM, as well as the World Scout Bureau staff. Candidate supporters include individuals, their own and other NSOs, and any corporate sponsors or supporters that they may have. The Code of Conduct for a specific election comes into effect from the date that the call for nominations is published. We also know that in many cases candidates know when and start their campaign well in advance of the call going out. To address any actions in bad faith that might take place before the call is issued, under the Code of Conduct, WOSM can take action for any breach of the code before a call is issued if that action attempts to undermine a free and transparent election for all of the candidates. You can raise any concerns about the behavior of any candidate or their supporters that you understand to breach this Code of Conduct by submitting a written complaint at any point after the publication of the call for nomination up to 4 weeks after the election has taken place. If a complaint is submitted more than 4 weeks after the election, it cannot be pursued under this Code of Conduct. A candidate and their supporters should not commit any of the following actions that could impact on the outcome of the election. These include breaking any of the rules under the WOSM General Code of Conduct, bribery, bullying, threatening, or rewarding anyone in order to secure votes for yourself or your candidate. Under the Code of Conduct, this specifically includes vote trading, which is when one candidate guarantees that their NSO will vote for another candidate if they get the other candidate's NSO votes in return. Lying about or misrepresenting any other candidate's views or actions or beliefs. Obstructing or preventing any other candidate from free and reasonable campaigning. If you believe that they are doing so in breach of this Code of Conduct, please report it to us to be able to take action. Using any aspect of discrimination to disadvantage another candidate, This includes any disparaging remarks about a person's beliefs, gender, country of origin, ethnicity, or sexual preferences. Any use of negative campaigning is forbidden. As Scouts, we don't use character assassination, rumors, personal attacks, or false information against other members. And of course, candidates are prohibited from committing any criminal offense. Your responsibilities under this code are as follows. You should always comply with the Scout Promise and Law, understand this code of conduct, and ensure that your supporters are aware of the code of conduct. Take action to prevent or correct any breach by your supporters of this code of conduct that you become aware of, actively respecting the rights of the other candidate, and ensuring a free, fair, and democratic process. We expect our candidates to support the rights of all candidates to campaign and express their views and report any breaches of this code of conduct as soon as you become aware of it. As you know, WOSM has adopted a secret voting process to protect the rights of members to freely express their choices, and we expect all candidates to accept and respect the certified outcome of the election. As a candidate, you have an additional responsibility to submit the funding report to the Ethics Committee no later than 24 hours before the election. To help you with this, we have prepared a template with an example report to help you meet this requirement. Remember, the intention of the election process is to make it accessible to any member to campaign, and these elections should be run at as low or no cost to the candidate as is possible. WOSM team members have some additional responsibilities to ensure a fair process. Like anyone else, they may not interfere with, promote, or negatively impact on a candidate or the election process unless they are doing so under an accepted recommendation from the Ethics Committee that has been accepted by the World Scout Committee as detailed in this Code of Conduct. They may not use their office or the resources of the WOSM office, such as emails, official communication platforms, or events, to further their own or another candidate's campaign. Of course, none of this prevents WOSM team members from campaigning for themselves as much as any other candidate would do. But they need to do so using their own or their NSO's resources and not using those of WOSM. So, for example, if you are currently a world or regional committee member, you are allowed to campaign for yourself, just like any other candidate, but you are not allowed to use the resources provided by WOSM, such as WOSM-sponsored travel, email, or online platforms, to further your campaign and in such a way that would disadvantage other candidates. This is intended to prevent incumbents or office bearers from leveraging their position to advantage them in future elections. But, as we do not wish to disadvantage currently elected officials, if you would like more clarity on this point or something you would like to know if you're allowed to do, please email us at complaints@scout.org and we will be more than happy to help you. Giving small mementos or promotional material has very much become part of the process at WOSM elections. However, these can not only be misunderstood, but can also be harmful to the environment and costly, neither of which are aligned to our shared Scouting values. As such, candidates may only provide such promotional items when they are of token value. Also, you are reminded that it is not permitted to offer another candidate or potential candidates a promotional item or gift to withdraw their candidacy or to not stand in the first place. When a complaint has been accepted and processed as laid out under the WOSM complaints policy, the World Scout Committee is empowered under this Code of Conduct to undertake a number of corrective actions. The World Scout Committee may decide on any one of the following actions: a confidential verbal and written warning to the offender, a reprimand communicated to the member organizations implicated or housing the offender, disqualification of the candidate from the current election, loss of the right of the offender to stand for future elections within WOSM, any mandated legal action, and any other sanction that the committee deems appropriate within the authority of the WOSM Constitution and the relevant WOSM policies. Any complaints made under this policy will be handled as detailed under WOSM's complaint policy and must be made in writing as described in that policy. You can submit a complaint in writing to complaints@scout.org.za or by post or hand to the WOSM headquarters at the address detailed below. Thank you for your attention and for giving us your time to understand how we are protecting you as a candidate and those campaigning with you in this election. After this training, you will be required to confirm that you have completed this training session and understand and accept the WOSM Code of Conduct for elections. We look forward to the outcome of the elections and wish you all the best as you compete to step into the responsibilities of leadership of our incredible movement. We know you will make us proud, both in the campaign and for those who succeed as our leaders in creating a better world. Thank you.